Yo, what is good, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to GeoGuessr Explained. Today we'll do one on Varied World. Bit of a difficult map, but we'll see how it goes. Links are in the description to play along. And I would say let's get into things here. Okay, I'm going to be explaining my thought process, as is the tradition here. Hopefully, we get some interesting rounds here, or hopefully GeoGuessr loads, you know what I'm saying? Okay, here we are. So, first round, immediately, trucks, short license plates, these buildings going to be North America, we can tell that for sure. Copyright could be quite useful here, because it feels like we're very northern, or like out in the middle of nowhere. Copyright can be quite useful. So, if it's 2022, that means it's a bit older, maybe more distinctive. We got the blue car here, doesn't seem to be the strapped car. I wondered if it might be the strapped car, which drives to northern Quebec and Labrador, but it doesn't seem to be that. And the houses, yeah. We have a black border on the no parking sign. That would lead me towards Canada, and obviously it feels very northern, so that would make a good lot of sense. We have mountains, so probably in the west of Canada. Like, they are very big, especially in the background here. No front plates, that's useful. Most provinces don't use front plates, but BC does, so probably not in BC. So I'm thinking we're in Yukon here, and it feels like a bigger city with kind of mid-sized mountains all around, so probably Whitehorse, I would have to say. Those mountains are kind of east of us, which makes sense. Kind of, yeah, east, like maybe southeast-ish. Yeah, I think the angle of the mountains makes a lot of sense here. So yeah, I think Whitehorse then, and Whitehorse has the blue card 2022 as well, so that would make sense. Yeah, with a bit of knowledge there, can definitely be an achievable round, I would say. Next one here, white car with the antenna, or white road lines. That combination should put you normally in Turkey, and can be a bunch of other countries too, such as Sweden, Czechia, Slovenia, Hungary, I want to say, some others. But generally speaking, you should just trust that it's Hungary. That it's Turkey. And it looks like Turkey. It's quite... well, it's a difficult one. It's quite hilly, which is always good for Turkey. You barely ever flat in Turkey. There's only a few places. Reddish soil. Also would much prefer to be Turkey than a bunch of other places that we mentioned. Big ditch. Also probably very Turkish. That being said, I'm not quite sure where we are because, as I said, it is kind of a interesting landscape here. It feels quite European with the pine forest, but definitely going to be west with the pine forest like that. But where? Not so sure. Probably just going to send it in here. And it was towards Istanbul. That makes sense to me. Next one here. Blue car. Wooden pole. These bins, they're very distinctive to this country. We have a jacaranda tree. Southern hemisphere kind of tree. We can tell the sun's in the north, so southern hemisphere here. That one, I think it's native to South Africa, but also grows a lot in Brazil, Australia. Red soil here, obviously useful. This kind of architecture, these low houses, are also very typical for this country. But of course, the best tip is just this tree, the big eucalyptus tree with the white branches and the olive green leaves. That's going to be Australia. And then these bins, very typical of Australia. Now, we should see something. I'm just looking for it. Because I'm almost certain we're in Queensland here, but that's kind of just a vibe thing. I'm looking for something specific here. I think it's on that pole, but it's out of range. So how can I get it out otherwise? We got the bollard with the short reflector. It's about half the length of the normal. That's very common in South Australia, Queensland, but it's not a fully trustworthy meta. The poles being kind of this green color is also very common in Queensland, I would say. Red soil, going to lead us a bit further north. This kind of lamp, which has the arm and then has like a box which is attached to, I think that's mostly in Queensland. I can't actually remember what the distribution is, but definitely a Queensland kind of thing. And yeah, apart from that, I'm kind of struggling to tell you exactly why it's Queensland. It's kind of about the vibe of the trees and everything. It shouldn't be too far north, though. I'm thinking just like a Theodore here should be fine. Yeah, even St. George, yeah, makes sense. Next one here, black Google car here. And it is pretty dry on the hills, but... Okay, well, we do have a striped signpost here, black, white, so that will be a very big clue. Obviously, it exists in a bunch of countries, but when it's a thick signpost, thick wooden signpost like this, should normally just be Peru. I think the other ones all do like a thin signpost if they have it. And yeah, do you get like a kind of tropical vibe off this mountain? It's very hard to describe at first. It's something you build up a vibe for over time, but it feels like the dry season in a tropical place here to me. And that would lead me to the north of Peru towards Ecuador, because obviously the equator's up there. A bit more tropical. This type of pine tree is also quite common in the north of Peru, but can be found pretty much everywhere as well. Just leans north. And the copyright can also be useful. 2023, so that's the one that's kind of found everywhere in the country, so not too useful, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know. There's actually not too much to go off here, but the black car, like, Peru's car is normally either black or grey, and it normally has a brake light. No brake light here is also more common in the north, I think. So I'll go Chota, and it was all the way north. Yeah, that makes good sense to me. Definitely look like southern Ecuador. Next one here, easy one. We got the Indonesian flags plus the tiled roofs. So defaulting, guessing to Java here. Can also be like Lampung, South Sumatra with that combination, or even Bali. So I mean, these bollards here are more common in Lampung, so maybe Lampung. And we do have a plantation of like, is that corn? It doesn't look like corn. It's got stalks. I don't know. These houses being like kind of spaced apart with like big entrances also reminds me of Lampung. So I'm wondering, but that's a weirdly fancy roof. That would be very suspicious for Lampung. So I'm wondering even about like Lombok, Java here. To be honest, I don't know. The bollards. I think I trust the bollards and the plantation in the background. It's certainly interesting. I don't know. I have a wide range of places I think this could be, but I would trust Lampung the most. And it is actually all the way to, yeah. It didn't quite feel typical Bali. It felt like it's going to be all the way on an extremity. These bollards, they're normally decently trustworthy. But this type of roof would normally be on Java, I think, where it's like got fancy horns to it and stuff like that. I don't know what this crop is, though. It's like hops. It looks like it's hops or something, or what? Tobacco, maybe. Not quite sure, but that is... And then also the sheer predominance of coconut palms here is also not that common in Java, but obviously Java's very tropical, so it can be seen. East Java and Lampung can actually look pretty similar too, so that's my cope there. 21k, still not too bad. And you have to remember, this is kind of a baity map, so if you get things wrong, then the mapmaker's intention was achieved. Okay, next one here. NMPZ, we've got people lying on like a raised thing so they don't get eaten by insects, so that's going to be a Southeast Asian kind of thing here. That is honestly very useful, because I could see someone going South America here. If you did, I don't blame you. We've got like a white brick architecture here, very common in like Eastern Indonesia and Philippines, I would say. The concrete road here probably reminded me more of Philippines. Can we see the sun here? Sun, not really readable. Although our satellite dish here is not clear. It's actually just a pure color. So I would say that's more Philippines. But could this be Sri Lanka is my other idea now. Because I feel like this architecture is possible in Sri Lanka. The people are not very dark, though. In Sri Lanka, the skin tone really is very dark. So I would probably say Philippines or Indo still. We have quite a lot of bamboo in the background. Kind of reminds me of like central Philippines. Like Panay has a lot of bamboo. It's difficult. I think I would just go for that, though. I could see this being Indonesia still. And it was actually there, just on a tiny island here, Batayan Island. Yeah, good result, difficult round. So if you got that, well done. But I would just say that it's mix of architecture, that satellite dish not being see-through, and just the skin tone, honestly, on the people that helped me not go Sri Lanka. Okay, next one here. So we have like a water tower that has probably the town name written on it. That's something they really love to do in North America. But this fence that's kind of got the tilted angle to it, I would not associate that with North America at all. So my new idea is that this might be Argentina. We also have like an old Citroen. I think that's a Citroen that's been burnt out here. I feel like there's a lot more European cars just in South America, in Argentina, Brazil, compared to North America. So that would also check out. Wooden poles in the background. That's also why I'm kind of thinking Argentina. And it feels cold in a way that probably wouldn't exist too much. Like cold and barren, it's not really common in Chile. Not really common north. It's just more down here. Yeah, to me it feels like it even might be Chubut or something. It feels quite southern. Although we do have big bushes. Could be Chubut, could be Rio Negro, could be New Cane, could be Mendoza, someone like that, I think. Sun is again kind of hard to see. We're probably in a town that starts with PES, so theoretically, decently findable here. It's probably big enough to like be seen on this kind of zoom level. So I'll go for a quick check here. Down here, PES something. Not seeing it. There's Palermo. No, we want something PES per. No. So I mean my guess would have been somewhere around here, I think. It's difficult for sure. I think I like this area here, maybe. Anything else to say, though? Don't think so. PES. I'm still kind of believing that it could just appear to me in this region here. Because it definitely looks like that, with the latitude vibe is more like that. But I'll just guess here. And okay, it was actually even further south. Oh, it was Puerto Desado. So it wasn't actually the town name, probably just a company name. Surprisingly green and lush. Like, these bushes are pretty big to be seeing that south. It's a very cool round. Yeah, and even a few frames later, it becomes much more obvious that this is very south. Look, we have another Citron there. I think that's a different one, no? Or is it a few years later? This is 2014. 2014, dumps to 2014 again. That's October. This is May. Okay, so the same car has been put over here. That's fascinating. I love that. But yeah, I mean, this fence, not North America. And then obviously kind of America-style architecture and yeah, I guess that's Pespas is definitely a company. Okay, next one here. So European vibe with the grass growing in the middle of the road for sure, and this kind of hedgerowish stuff. We got a wooden building with like a fake tiled roof. Okay, so fake tile roof is making me think like Romania, Slovakia, something in that kind of Carpathian area, but it's not to say it couldn't be Western Europe. You can definitely see those in like France or something as well, so not the most useful detail. And honestly, the hedgerowish stuff makes me think it might actually be further west. I was thinking like Slovakia at first, now I'm almost just considering France. But I don't know, like Slovenia could be a nice hedge for the two, because it definitely could be Slovenia with the wooden architecture here. Don't even mind that. I don't know, it feels like... I don't know, with the hedgerow stuff, I do want to go France, actually, but yeah, could definitely be wrong here. Oh, wow, really good guess there. It definitely felt high, so Eastern France made much more sense. Also hedging a bit for the Western Europe. But the wooden architecture, like, yeah, leading towards Alps, that's obviously the start of the Alps, so, yeah, but difficult round. I couldn't really describe it too much more than that. Next one here, hard round. Long-ish white number plates here. We have milkweed, this kind of big-leafed, pale, kind of thing that grows in drier climates, so that's a pretty good clue. But still not helping me even with the continent here. This guy's got fairly dark skin, but it's only one guy. It's hard to profile it too accurately. Okay, thoughts. Yeah, the milkweed would lean me away from like a Taiwan here, which I could have seen with the bikes and the landscape. So maybe Philippines came to mind here. That's a very strange pavement for Philippines. I could see Americas here too. I could see Ecuador, could see Mexico. Could see Brazil, potentially, but unlikely. It's a really interesting background. We have an interesting mix of vegetation. We also have this like kind of legume-ish looking tree here. Not really sure what that would lean me towards. It almost looks Asian, and with the abundance of motorbikes, I mean, Asia has to come to mind. It's definitely more common to see those. With a longer plate as well, could make sense. I think Philippines might still be an option, but where else in Asia could it be? Southern Mexico comes to mind here. I don't know. Something about the kind of soil color here. But yeah, not too sure. This is very difficult. It's hard for me to explain if I have no idea where it is. There's a distinct Asian vibe here. I think the plates are too long for Mexico as well, which is my main other idea. So I almost, I really want to almost try Taiwan, but it's a bit too crazy. So I think I'll just go max north Philippines here. It's pretty dry. We get some dry sections in here. You can see on the map. I'm going to go for that. Wow, Indonesia is not. This is a top 1%. No, top 0.1% difficult Indonesia. Milkweed does make sense. Indo gets a bit more dry than Philippines. This guy's very dark for Indonesian standards, I would say. But it makes sense that we're in West Nusa because I feel like the further east you go in the country, the more dark skinned they might become. But obviously it's difficult to know. But I mean, I guess Philippines is a decent result here. Indonesia, I mean, this pavement tells me nothing. That's way too hard. I guess the good thing to remember here on this round is just, yeah, motorbikes, gonna lean you towards Asia. And then I think it's like kind of legumistry. This texture of leaf is also more common in Asia than elsewhere. Very difficult round. And maybe we could use the sun. But anyway, next one here. Immediately seeing like dirt road, low green vegetation, and this pole, which could be like a railway pole or it's just like a big utility pole. At this point, I'm definitely checking copyright because if this is 2021, then I would consider Russia. That being said, I think it might be 2024. It's hard to read. I'm not really thinking Russia anyway. I think the slight reddishness to the soil would be weird. It's obviously very common in Russia to get reddish soil, but just like in combination with the coverage, I don't know. I think you do see these like kind of Soviet style huge poles in the Baltics quite a lot. But it might be more warm. It might be more like a Hungary, Slovakia. It's hard to say. Some of these bushes here, they feel quite cold. I think I'm satisfied with Latvia, but could be anywhere in Eastern Europe. And okay, it was Lith. Not a bad result there. Very, very difficult seed here, I would say. NMPZ on this map is, if you got, wait, let me think here. If you got 10k on this seed, then you should actually be proud. Not to blow my own horn, but this, like 18, almost 19k is a pretty good effort on this seed, I would say. Is a very difficult map. This round, probably the easiest. That very difficult, this very difficult, this very difficult, and this very difficult. So that was at the top end of difficult on this map, even for this map. All right, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.